right, well, you've probably seen President Trump delivered an address at CPAC. That's something you don't see oftentimes, and this guy made it possible. Matt Schlapp is the American Conservative Union chairman, and obviously, Matt, you can call up anyone, including the President of the United States, and first of all, they'll answer the phone and talk to you, but when you got him to speak, I mean, it was a year ago that he passed up the opportunity. And there were many in that room, maybe the same folks, who were leery about it. There were other candidates they liked more.
Yeah.
But they eventually rallied around him and all. What was it like today?
Wow. You know, you never know. It's a pretty electric room, Neil. And, you know, there's people with different opinions and some boisterous voices. And they were in unison, just very excited. And I think what I tried to capture in the few brief seconds I had on the stage is just to say, I think what's uniting conservatives is this whole question about conservatives and populists and the state of the conservative movement. I think the theme that unites them all is the idea that this guy fights, and he fights for the things he cares about. And when you fight, yeah, it can get bloody and sweaty and a little dirty, but he fights, and they really like that.
You know, seeing you know, with your wife there, and I'm thinking, you know, maybe politics beckons you guys. Maybe rather than host an event, you run for something.
I don't know. You know, we got those 5 little girls, Neil, and a lot on our plate, but we do love politics. It's something my wife and I have in common. We met at the White House. We met in Richard Nixon's old office at the White House when we worked for President George W. Bush, so it just runs through both of our veins.
All right. I was just trying to pin you down to see if you're going to quit this. So now I want to get a sense that this conservative battle that's going on, and battle might be too strong a word. I don't want to be like the mainstream media here, but I had a feeling that there's a battle for the soul of the numbers crunchers going on in the Republican Party, those that want to make sure deficits don't get worse, they don't go spending like crazy, infrastructure be damned, and cool it, Mr. President. And then others who say, you get big tax cuts, comprehensive tax cuts, they're going to pay for themselves down the road, everyone take a chill pill and get on the Trump train with these big tax cuts. But there's a division there, and not everyone is on board. What do you make of that?
Well, conservatives like me don't like the idea of, quote-unquote, paying for a tax cut. We believe that Congress actually and government doesn't get it right when they think about the economic consequences of their policies. They don't realize the negative impact when they pass all these regulations. It's never accounted for in the way they look at the budget impacts. And when it comes to taxes, you know this, Neil, because I watch it day after day. If we don't get the economy going and these companies don't feel like they can invest all this capital, including the capital they have overseas, we will never get this thing going again. So I like the idea of throwing away this idea of paying for a tax cut and actually putting the tax policies in place we need to be the biggest engine in the world's economy.
You know, that is just coming from me. I thought the president spent way too much time ripping the media. He's well within his right. They have not been fair to him.
Right.
I see it all the time. I see, you know, if you want to go after him about some of the problems, have at it, but they ignore the $3 trillion in added wealth in the markets. They ignore a lot of stuff, and he's perfectly valid in making that argument. But he's, I don't know, I feel like he's just got to let go of this and just move on and focus and leave it alone. What do you think?
I think that makes a lot of sense to me, Neil, but I do think the crowd kind of egged him on. He was going to talk about it. They just love it so much.
Because, you're right. They do.
You know,
they do.
Conservatives do feel they feel put upon. You know, they get called deplorable. They feel like they don't get their voice respected in our major institutions, and when they turn on too many television channels and pick up too many newspapers. And so there's a real angst. That goes back to this fighting thing, Neil. They love the fact that he's taking on these big institutions that usually dismiss conservatives. It's why they love him. But I agree with you. It would be better to just simply focus on this agenda, because this agenda, man, this is the thing that's going to turn the country around.
Yeah, because my view on this stuff, Matt, is you could just prove your point was, I just want to let you know that the market's up $3 trillion since I was elected. I just want to let you know that I've got every major Fortune 20 CEO committed to hiring more workers in this country, and leave it at that, and just say, I don't know if that news gets out, but I thought I'd share it with you, and then move on.
Yeah, well, maybe there'll be a détente here with some of these outlets. if they actually start covering it, you know?
Yeah, you're right about that. Well, good job, my friend. Always good seeing you. Matt Schlapp, the American Conservative Union
You too, Neil.
Chairman. All right.